Greetings. Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel, Tarot Philosophia. As an astrologer, I'm always surprised when people don't know what is considered their big three in astrology. Now, I know not everyone knows all their astrological details, having not studied their astrology at all, or perhaps not having been exposed to astrology very much. But the big three is the basics of one's own astrology, as well as three very important and prominent factors in it. And often it is what a lot of people will know about their own astrology, even if they don't know anything else. So I'm making this video for you if you are that person, to get you started in understanding your astrological makeup just a little bit. And so when someone asks you what is your sun, moon, and rising sign, which is a question asked in a lot of social circles, because a lot of people dabble in astrology and are astrologically curious about the people they meet, you can then actually be able to answer that question instead of having no idea what they're talking about. And by being able to answer that question, maybe as well, might make for some fun and interesting conversation. So I just want to mention here your sun sign, which is one of your big three. So we all know what sign we are in astrology, correct? So for those of you who don't know, when we say we are in a certain sign, or when someone asks us what sign we are in, or we ask them, the answer here is referring to what is our sun sign. So I just want to make that clear, because sometimes I do come across people who do not realize that when they call themselves a certain astrological sign, that it is referring to their sun sign. So when you are saying you're a certain sign, whether it be Aries or Taurus or Gemini, and so on and so forth, this again is your sun, the sign the sun is in, astronomically speaking, at the time of your birth, where the sun was located in terms of the constellations and the measurements of the equinoxes and solstice points. Now, the astrological birth chart, which you will see in a moment, is like a snapshot of the sky. It's like a picture taken at the precise moment you were born, from the perspective of where you were born. So keep in mind, in some places on Earth, it may be day, while in other places, it will be night, even though it's the same moment in time. And you can also tell when you're looking at a birth chart whether it was day or night, as well as many other things. Even if you're just given the wheel without without the data, without your birth date, even if you're just given the astrological wheel, which you'll see in a moment, you can tell just by looking at the wheel whether it was day or night, as well as many other things. And it being day or night, as well as many other things, are also important factors in astrological birth chart analysis. But we're going to just keep it simple today with the big three. So, but what I'm trying to say here is that the sky will look different depending on your place on Earth, whether it be a drastic difference of day or night, or a more subtle difference. And the astrological birth chart is like a snapshot of the moment you were born from the perspective of the place you were born on Earth. So every single planet in our solar system is in a zodiac sign and will be in our birth charts. But again, today we are only focusing on what is considered the big three. So the big three refers to what constellation your sun is in. And that again is the sign you are probably all already familiar with. But it also refers to what your moon sign is in, astronomically speaking, what zodiac sign the moon was in at the time of your birth. So the big three is your sun, and it's the moon, and it is also your rising sign or your ascendant sign. Rising sign and ascendant sign are used interchangeably and mean the same thing. Rising sign and ascendant sign are the same thing. And your rising sign or ascendant is not actually a planet. It is a point in astrology, and it is a very, 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 very important point. It's the point where the sun rises in the morning, the eastern horizon. It's the point on the ecliptic at which it intersects the eastern horizon. So the zodiac sign that's on the eastern horizon, when you are born, that zodiac sign will be your rising sign or ascendant. Now, to calculate this point, you need to have your exact birth time, or there could be a good chance you will not get your rising sign correct. This is because the zodiac constellation on the ascendant changes very quickly as the Earth rotates in the sky. The zodiac constellation on the ascendant changes about every couple of hours. So sometimes you can get your accurate rising sign without knowing your precise birth time. But sometimes if you are just a couple minutes off, or if even a minute, and it happens to be when that zodiac sign that was on the horizon has completely moved to the next sign, then you will have an incorrect rising sign or ascendant. It can be hit or miss. Sometimes it's okay if your time is a little off and you will still get a correct rising sign. And sometimes you will just get the incorrect rising sign if you don't have the exact time. Understanding how the degrees work and how much time you may be off, and knowing your exact birth time would give you a pretty good understanding and whether your rising sign is correct. For example, the astrological constellation zodiac signs follow an order. Aries is the beginning. So Aries is the first zodiac sign. Taurus is the second zodiac sign. Gemini is the third zodiac sign, and Cancer is the fourth. And Leo is the fifth sign of the zodiac, and so on and so forth, all the way until we get to the 12th zodiac sign, Pisces. And then the cycle starts over again at Aries, the beginning of the sign and the first sign of the zodiac. I mention this because let's say you can see the number of degrees by the ascendant or the rising sign. And it shows that it's only within a couple of degrees into a sign. Let's say it shows your sign in Cancer, but it's only a couple of degrees into Cancer. Well, that's not very far into Cancer. So the sign on the eastern horizon has only started to be in Cancer. Let's say it's possible you were born 5 minutes earlier than what you think, than when you think you were born. Then only being a couple degrees into Cancer with the time you put into astro.com versus your actual birth time. Astro.com is the webpage we have right here, versus your actual birth time. Then you would actually likely be the sign before Cancer, which is Gemini. I hope that makes sense. Let's say you have Cancer rising at 27 to 29 degrees. This is at the end of Cancer because there's only 30 degrees to each sign, starting at 0 degrees. So when we hit that 29 mark of a sign, we will then be within moments into going into the next sign, which would be 0 degrees Leo. So we'd be within moments before Cancer is no longer on the horizon and Leo is just starting to come up. So if it shows those later degrees of Cancer on the birth chart wheel, but you actually have your inaccurate birth time, and your birth time is actually, let's say, a little later than what you have, maybe within 5 minutes or so, then your rising sign as Cancer will be inaccurate due to the wrong birth time by just a couple of minutes, give or take. And you would actually be a Leo rising. So I'm just trying to explain to you why it's important to have the accurate birth time. And so hopefully I've made that clear for you guys. So now that I've done that, I can finally show you how to calculate this for yourself online. And as you can see, I have had astro.com here. And so this is the webpage where you can do it on, astro.com. And you will have to register on the site, and you will have to set up a user profile. But this website is also really handy because once you do this, you can type the data to get a chart at chart anytime, and it'll keep it there and store it for you. And you can access it anytime you want, even with a smartphone, which can be really handy. So I'm just going to enter. So you would pull up the screen where you enter the information. You get to this screen, astro.com. And I'm going to just type today's date. But what you're going to do is you see the first name, the last name, where you type your birthday and the hour and the country and the birth town. So you just have to fill out this form. And I'm going to just do today's date. I'm going to call this chart the big three, because that's what we're looking at today. Today is February 29th, 2022. And it is currently 2:12 p.m. as I do this. So I'm going to put that in. So this chart that I'm making, if someone was born right here where I'm at, this would be their birth chart. So right here, we have country, and we've got the whole world here. And if you click on it, you can see all these different countries. You can see the USA right here. I'm in the USA. Scroll down and click on the country that you're in. However, if you are in the USA, I have noticed that they have the states as well. And I noticed it's a little bit more accurate if you just type in the states. So go ahead and type in the states if you're in the USA, or type in or click on the country if you're in a different country. So then we type in the birth town. So again, if someone was being born right here, right now, at this time, maybe somebody is where I'm at in my town. This would be their birth chart. So you're going to type again your information, of course. So then we go to continue, and we're getting closer. And I did something wrong, and I didn't put it in the right month. So, oops, make sure you put in the right details. So let's go to continue. Okay, and hopefully I put in the right information, but it doesn't really matter. I'm just showing you how to do it. It doesn't matter if it's April 30th or April 29th, if I show you this. But anyways, so here's some astrological data that I have stored in here. And this is the chart that I just did, the big three. So let's click on that. So since I'm showing you how to get your birth chart on this webpage, I'm going to also go ahead and direct you to the house system I like to use. And for the people who don't know, a house system, a house in astrology is something that is just used to measure different portions of the sky. A house just represents different types of parts of the sky, different areas of the sky. And it's actually more complicated than what you would think it would be to how to look at the sky and measure the sky. So if you look here, these are all different ways of measuring the sky, like different options. So I'm pretty sure the default and the Placidus are actually the same. Like if you leave it on default, it's the same one, but I notice I have Placidus here now, but I do believe these are this one and the same. So again, for those of you who don't know what houses are, they are just measured portions of the sky. And the setting here that is a natural default is the Placidus house system measurement. And what I like to do is I personally like whole sign houses. So I'm going to go to whole sign houses. That's the measurement I like. So, and I, and if you leave it on Placidus or you use the whole signs or the where it says default, you will still get the big three that I'm showing you. You don't have to put it on whole signs. I am also just showing you this in case some of you send me your charts after seeing this. You will have the chart already formatted in the way I like to read it, which is whole signs. And this is a complicated study and how people decide to measure their houses, and too much to get into at the moment, but whole signs I prefer. And it doesn't matter if you use Placidus or whole signs, you will still get the same rising sign. So, okay, now that we've done that, we're ready to look at the chart. Okay. So this is an astrological wheel. This is the snapshot of the sky from the perspective of where you were born, or what is going on from where I am at right now, at least. But for you, it'll be. So let's just scroll down past this birth chart. And we are looking for your big three. So that's the sun, and that's the moon, and that's the rising sign. So if you look where my cursor is, it says sun right here. And right next to it is the symbol of the sun. If you just go over here, it says 9 degrees Taurus. So the sun is 9 degrees Taurus. If someone's born right now, that's their sun. And you see right here, it says the moon. It says the moon 28 degrees Aries. So the moon is 28 degrees. So we were looking for the sun, the moon. Now, what about the ascendant? Well, you have to go down here for the ascendant. And it says 0 degrees Virgo. So if someone was born right now, their big three would be 9 degrees Taurus. Excuse me, let's leave the degrees out of it. So if someone was born right here, right now, their big three would be Taurus, sun, moon, Aries, and Virgo rising. Sun and Taurus, moon and Aries, and Virgo rising. So this person would have their big three, and that's how you do it, but you just enter your data as well. Right here is considered your rising sign, where it says 1. There's this number. This represents the first house, and this is where your rising sign is. And I just want to show you while I'm here. You already know now how to find your big three, your sun, moon, and rising sign. But since we're here, I just want to show you in the center right here is where the earth is, and where you are, right? And then right here is the eastern horizon, and you follow it all the way through, and that's the western horizon where the sun sets. So where the sun rises and where the sun sets. So everything from this point, if you go around like this and you follow my cursor, is what's above the earth. And again, you're at right here. And then anything below the line, this middle line right here, is what would be below the earth, right? So this, where the sun rises, where the sun sets, from here to here above the earth, and from here to here below the earth. So we can actually see that if you look down, right, this is the sun symbol. We can actually tell, you can see that the data is, we can't see the data. Let's say we can only see the wheel. We can actually see that's the middle of the day because the sun is out, right? And this point right here is around the middle of the day, this line right here. So we can see that the sun has been out for a while and it's still out. And this symbol right here is the moon. And if we were to walk outside, perhaps we'd be able to see the moon because it's above us right now, or at least from where I'm at in the earth. So maybe I would, even though it's daytime, be able to go out and see the moon. And we can see that also, this is the Mercury. We can see that Mercury's out in the sky right now, and Jupiter and Venus and Neptune and Mars, and that they'll actually be setting soon, but they're out in the sky. But I can't see them because it's daylight, right now. But if it was nighttime and it showed these planets in this portion of the sky, I could know that I could actually walk out and see them by casting a chart. So that is how you find your big three in astrology. That is how you find your moon, sun, and rising. And I hope that was helpful for you. And if you appreciate this video, please consider liking and subscribing. And I hope that you all have a beautiful day. Thank you for watching. Bye.